What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Yent, man, back with another video, man. And today we're gonna be talking about why you should watch One Piece or read One Piece. I do both, but we're gonna be getting into that. So, for starters, One Piece, if you're not familiar, it's an ongoing manga slash anime that started airing in 1997. So currently, it has been 25 plus years of it currently running, and right now, to date, it has 1,049 episodes and 1,073 manga chapters. Now wait, before you say nah, just click off the video and be like, nah, I can't, no, that's too much. Wait, if you have been somebody that's watched something like Naruto, think about it. Naruto, when you add up first part in Shippuden, it's almost 700 episodes. And then if you read the manga, it's 700 chapters. I get it. That's still less than 1,000 plus, but it's just to let you know that there's other. You might have already watched a long series, so yes, it's gonna be a tall task to get caught up. But I think the best way to watch it is to not binge watch it because you want to just enjoy the journey. And I get it. You can be like, you can crack the jokes like, dang, well, if I take my time, I might be like 20 years older by the time I get caught up to where it is right now. And then I got to catch up to wherever it is at that point. But just bear with me and let me just get through my spiel and let y'all know whether or not you would be interested and why I think you should be interested to watch/read One Piece. All right. So first, for starters, should you watch or should you read? So, in my opinion, I prefer reading it just because of the way that Toei, the producing and streaming company for One Piece, decides to do their anime, because One Piece is one of the only ones that is still weekly, so it comes out with a new episode every week. But to make sure that they don't fall in line of like producing filler, which is non-canon material, which is basically like the anime comes up with anime only stories, they try and just draw out scenes from the manga. So instead of like one episode adapting one chapter per episode, it might be half a chapter, and then half of it, like notoriously at the beginning of an anime episode, it might show you a 5-minute recap of what happened in the last episode. That can be very daunting on some people. Me, it doesn't bother me too much, and then obviously, I could always just skip the first 5 minutes because I know exactly what it's saying. But that's why I say I like to read it. Not everybody likes to read. But the anime is a lot better currently than it has been pacing-wise to the past couple of years. So I still watch both. I watch and I read, but I prefer to read. Like I read the chapter every week, or if there's a break, the week after. So that's be up to you whether or not you're okay with seeing like a recap every episode, or if you want to just skip the first 5 minutes like I do, and you'll be good. Now the recap thing does not happen every episode. It just, for good portions of the stories, it'll do that sometimes. So don't get drawn in on that. Sometimes the way they might produce an episode and make it longer, or to draw out the episode, is like they might get reactions from all the characters on screen. Whereas in the series, it wasn't really reactions like that. Like, or if it was very brief, Whereas like they can turn like a glare into like, instead of like a second or two glare, to being like a whole 20-second, 10-second drawn out dramatic effect, which they do it well most of the time. But sometimes you're like, dang, I know they pulling for time right here. But that's up to you. Personal preference, like I said, I read, but I enjoy both. And right now, the animation for the anime currently is top notch right now. Way better than it has been in recent years. So, next, some of the reasons why I think you should read/watch One Piece. All right. First, it is a battle shonen. Like Naruto, like Bleach, it is a battle shonen. But what it does a lot better than both of those is it has a lot more adventure, because the main character is Monkey D. Luffy. He is a kid that wants to be the king of the pirates. What is the king of the pirates? Basically, there was this guy named Goldie Roger, and he was the king of the pirates, the first king of the pirates, and he had this great treasure. And the Marines, which are like the police of the world, captured him, executed him. Before he died, he said, everybody's wondering like, well, where's your treasure? Where's your treasure? Because he was the king of the pirates. He must have had the greatest treasure. And he was like, if you guys want my treasure, I left it all in one piece. And then that started the pirate age. So like everybody wants to be a pirate to go out there and find that. And Luffy took that to heart, and he wants to be the king of the pirates. Not really for the treasure, but just be the most free. And that's the thing that is hammered home throughout the series, is that Luffy just wants to be free. That's what he views the king of the pirates, to be the most free on the seas. And their world's a lot differently. It's a lot more ocean. It's like a lot more ocean than it is for us. So that's why it'll look different. Like it's not like how these other worlds and the animes are, where it's kind of like replicated kind of how ours is. But for as far as like the adventure go, there's a lot of, you're gonna be traveling a lot. They travel from a plethora of islands, so I feel like that's really good because obviously that ties in with world building. So you'll start off and go to this one spot, and then you'll go to another spot, and then the other spot, and then eventually when you get to like the end of like a couple islands, you find out that all these islands are connected, and so that's something big. I'm trying to avoid giving direct spoilers to it, so that's why I'm kind of just alluding to things instead of outright saying what they are, because I want you guys to enjoy it for yourselves. So, and the other thing, another good thing about it is the characters. There's a lot of characters. Oda, which is the creator of One Piece, he is by far the best person I've seen when it comes to making characters and making meaningful characters and making sure that, you know, you care for the characters and they actually have a point for being in the story, you know. But as far as the main cast, you'll have just Luffy as the captain, and he'll meet his crewmates along the way, you know. And it's not a spoiler, but it's a spoiler. But you can see this anywhere. And the main characters, which is going to be his crew, are going to be Luffy himself, Zoro, his right hand man for most people, Sanji, the cook, Nami, the navigator, Frankie, kind of like the scientist on the ship, Brooke, the musician, Robin. It's going to be like the archaeology, like historian type. You got Chopper, which is the doctor, and then you got Jinbei, the helmsman, and I'm forgetting one, but yeah. So you have all those characters, right? And you want to care about them because throughout the arcs, they when they're first introduced, they have their own little background as to like why they are the way they are, and then why Luffy's drawn to them. And they make it a point to be like not very direct. Like Luffy doesn't have like these heartfelt scenes that other animes might have, like always, you know. But eventually he has those scenes. It just isn't always thrown out there the way other animes typically do it. So the characters are something that's really great in my opinion. And I feel like they have the best overall cast, because that's just the main characters. Whereas we're talking about the entire cast, which is like well over 100 characters in the story. They have popularity polls, and it's like over 100 by far all the time, every year. Next is going to be, there's comedy in it, and it's good comedy, and it's timed comedy, and it's like typical tropes, like especially with the characters have comedic tropes that happen, and it's just like it's not always serious like a battle shonen might be, and sometimes it might be corny, and other times it's just not that typical, you know, run-of-the-mill dry comedy here and there. It's kind of like it's timed, it makes sense, and it's different. Like literally in fights, there will be comedic scenes in the fight, just because that's just the way Oda is. He draws inspiration from Toriyama, which is the creator of Dragon Ball. And if you've read or watched the early Dragon Ball, that was more of a comedic series, and that's what he kind of drawed inspiration from when making his. So he's different in that aspect, and he makes, he's made me laugh on numerous occasions, and especially this past year with one of the biggest reveals that it was just way out of left field, but in a good way. So, and then obviously there's seriousness in it, just because like I said, it's a battle shonen, so there's obviously gonna be seriousness, there's gonna be fighting, there's gonna be all this other stuff. But what happens is they make a point to always drill home good backstories, good scenes for like what's going on in the world. You actually feel like this is like they have their own news, like public news that, for wanted posters with politics, stuff like that. It's like it's literally a world in itself. So you can actually get sucked into it. And that falls into my next point, which is theories. You can go down the theory rabbit hole on anything with this series. And me, myself, I'll eventually be doing more videos on theories myself, because it's just like, there's so many things that's happened in the story, because obviously it's over 1,000 episodes, 1,000 chapters. There's so much content, and there's so much stuff. And there's literally times where Oda literally mentions something in like chapter 200, and it's brought back up and be relevant in chapter 1,000. I'm not saying those numbers exactly, but in that ballpark, stuff like that happens. Like we had an arc that happened early on, and then later on, like last year, it becomes a lot more relevant. An arc that came out like 15 years ago became relevant and came connected to something that happened last year. And that's what I touched back into the, world building aspect. But all in all, One Piece is definitely my second favorite anime of all time, even though it's still currently going. I can't really, fully judge it, because obviously things can happen. Things can ruin a series. But right now, I really suggest, if you can, or if you want to, read or watch One Piece. Preferably read it. Also, a good thing about reading is it's a lot more quicker than watching. But obviously some people reading manga don't like doing that. But if you do, just make sure, you just do it the right way. I'm not promoting any piracy, but if you want to just get the Shonen Jump app on your phone, that's why I have it on my phone. So if ever I'm like, in a downtime, I can just hop on there and read a chapter, But I'm already caught up, but if any other series come out, I can do the same thing. So that's the thing. And there's only like $2, I want to say, and you have it forever. Just $2. But yeah, so go out, watch or read One Piece. All right. Yeah, have a good day.